Tales from the Crypt has consistently stood out as an anthology series that merges horror, suspense, and dark humor, often exploring the consequences of human folly and the unexpected twists of fate, and The Assassin embodies this tradition with remarkable sophistication. The episode opens with an almost cinematic flourish: a quiet city at night, slick streets reflecting scattered lights, and a lone figure moving with deliberate precision. The assassin is introduced not through dramatic exposition but through the subtle choreography of his actions, the careful checking of his weapons, the adjustment of his coat, the silent calculation of distances and angles. These opening moments immediately establish a tension that is both external and internal, emphasizing that this story is as much about the character's inner moral struggle as it is about the outward acts of violence that define his profession. One of the most striking aspects of The Assassin is the way it uses visual storytelling to convey psychological depth. Shadows play a critical role, not simply as aesthetic flourishes but as metaphors for the moral ambiguity the protagonist inhabits. In multiple scenes, he moves through spaces where light and darkness coexist, illuminating parts of his face while concealing others, suggesting that no choice he makes is entirely clear-cut. This visual duality mirrors the thematic tension between duty and conscience, the public persona and private moral reckoning. The screenplay itself is both concise and layered, avoiding superfluous dialogue while imbuing each line with potential meaning. Conversations are often deceptively ordinary, yet every pause and hesitation communicates subtext. A brief exchange in a cafe, for instance, serves simultaneously as a character study, a moral touchpoint, and a foreshadowing of events to come. The show's strength lies in its ability to cultivate suspense and ethical complexity without relying on gratuitous action or shock value. Violence, when it occurs, is presented with a cold, clinical precision that reflects the assassin's professionalism while highlighting the human cost of each act. In one particularly memorable scene, the protagonist hesitates before carrying out a task, his hands trembling slightly as he considers the potential repercussions of his actions. This moment humanizes him profoundly, reminding the audience that beneath the calculated exterior exists a person grappling with conscience, regret, and the weight of choices that define his existence. Cinematography further reinforces these themes. Close-ups of eyes, hands, and small gestures convey tension and internal conflict more effectively than dialogue could. The camera often lingers on subtle movements, a flicker of expression, a shift in posture, the way light falls across a face, inviting viewers to participate actively in interpreting psychological and moral cues. Low-angle shots enhance the sense of power and dominance in some moments, while high-angle shots underscore vulnerability, creating a dynamic visual language that reflects both physical and ethical stakes. The episode's pacing is deliberately measured, allowing suspense to build organically. Scenes are constructed to heighten anticipation rather than resolve it immediately, giving the audience time to become immersed in the protagonist's moral and emotional landscape. This approach mirrors the precision and patience required by the assassin himself, drawing viewers into a rhythm that is both hypnotic and tension-filled. Sound design and music contribute significantly to the immersive experience. The score relies on minimalist motifs with subtle strings, low percussive pulses, and ambient city sounds creating a sense of unease and psychological intimacy. The distant echo of footsteps, the drip of rain, the hum of a neon sign. All these auditory details are amplified to enhance suspense, drawing attention to the smallest cues that signal danger or moral crossroads. Beyond its technical mastery, The Assassin excels in exploring the moral ambiguity of its central figure. The protagonist is not a traditional villain, nor is he a conventional hero. He operates in a morally gray world where each choice has consequences, and where ethics are defined not by law but by conscience, necessity, and survival. The interactions with minor characters serve to illuminate different facets of this moral universe. A shopkeeper, a passerby, or even a child may become a mirror reflecting the protagonist's own conscience, offering opportunities for redemption or further descent. These interactions are subtle yet powerful, highlighting the ripple effects of each action and the interconnectedness of human lives. The climax of the episode is notable for its restraint. Rather than relying on a dramatic confrontation, the resolution hinges on emotional and moral reckoning. The assassin's choices, often internalized and expressed through subtle gestures, carry greater weight than any overt action, leaving viewers to grapple with questions of justice, accountability, and personal responsibility. Comparisons to other episodes in the anthology reveal the distinctive approach taken in The Assassin. While many tales from the CRYPT stories indulge in supernatural elements or shocking twists, this episode is firmly grounded in psychological suspense, ethical complexity, and realism. Its narrative rhythm, visual style, and thematic focus evoke the intensity of classic thrillers, where shadows, tension, and moral ambiguity dominate. From a personal perspective, the episode resonated deeply. It invited reflection on the human capacity for both empathy and harm, the subtle ways in which ordinary choices can carry extraordinary consequences, and the tension between professional detachment and personal morality. The narrative encourages the audience to consider not only the assassin's ethical landscape, but also their own, fostering a rare kind of engagement that lingers long after the screen fades to black. Minor characters play essential roles, serving as narrative catalysts, moral benchmarks, or mirrors to the protagonist's internal struggle. Even brief appearances are loaded with meaning, demonstrating the careful craftsmanship behind the storytelling. The assassin's world is one of constant vigilance, calculated risk, and ethical tension, and each interaction subtly reinforces these themes. Environmental design also enhances narrative depth. Urban landscapes, narrow alleys, and dimly lit interiors create a sense of confinement, inevitability, and pressure that mirrors the psychological constraints on the characters. The assassin is as much a prisoner of circumstance as he is a master of his craft, and the interplay between setting and narrative amplifies this duality. In conclusion, The Assassin is a masterful entry in the Tales from the CRYPT anthology, distinguished by its careful attention to moral complexity, psychological tension, and atmospheric storytelling. Through skillful cinematography, deliberate pacing, nuanced character development, and immersive sound design, the episode creates a morally ambiguous universe that invites reflection on choice, consequence, and human fragility. It is an episode that challenges viewers to consider the ethical dimensions of action and inaction, leaving a lasting impression long after the final frame. The episode's brilliance lies in its ability to blend suspense, moral inquiry, and emotional resonance into a cohesive narrative that is at once entertaining, thought-provoking, and haunting. Reaffirming Tales from the CRYPT's reputation as a platform for stories that probe the darker corners of human nature while maintaining a sophisticated cinematic sensibility.